Of all the podcasts on all the streaming services, you come and listen to ours. Hi, I'm Max Phillips.
Hi, I'm Alex Maxwell, and this could be the ending of a horrible friendship.
And I'm Nathan Little, and even though we're going to talk about my favourite film, I don't have a quote from it to say, so...
Here's looking at you, dude.
Here's looking at you, guys.
So, today's episode of Film Club, we
White
watched...
House Down. No, is that what it's called? Is that even what that other film is called?
What?
What other film?
Film?
You've just named a film and expected us to understand what you're on about. It is a film.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
But to be clear, Alex, there are more films than Casablanca and White House Down. Those aren't like the only two
Those
ever
are the
made.
only two films that exist.
That's the other film, right? That people made.
Yeah, it's a sequel. Yeah. I hate doing this so much.
15 episodes of this, mate. 15
Hey Alex,
weeks
do you want
of
to spend
this.
an hour every week being ridiculed? The answer is yes. That's why I'm here. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, why have you put it down to just an hour? Because we do this privately as well.
It's true. Publicly then.
Your public hour, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. This is my masochist hour. That's what we should call it. Glassline Media's.
Well, we've had
hour.
two today technically because me and Alex spent a good hour today arguing with a man on Twitter over helmets, which was fun.
We did. It was two men.
Yeah, another one joined in. It was
one
weird.
joined
Two
in.
men
Two men.
arguing about helmets.
Two brothers. Two brothers.
For the record, just before we begin, one guy claimed that statistically, if you wear a helmet while riding a bicycle, you are more likely to be in an accident.
I'm sure just more people wear helmets.
Exactly.
Therefore the statistic.
Yeah.
Exactly! Causation, correlation, not always the same, my man.
Was, for a good while, it was literally me, you, and our friend Jack Divers just arguing with this one man who kept bringing up points. You and Jack would argue them correctly. I'd probably just insult him and then go, just be like, oh, bestie, you are trying. Really patronizing shit. And he kept ignoring all of my points.
The guy, I don't understand it. Do not understand it. But anyway,
it was
Casablanca.
such good fun.
Yeah.
Casablanca.
As I said before, Casablanca is my favourite film of all time. So I thought I'd get these guys to watch it because, I think it's a good film.
Yeah, neither of us
I
had.
hadn't seen it, so...
Which surprised me that Max hadn't.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the same thing to you in a way because it's Casablanca. It's one of those films that it's like, my mum will see this and be like, "Oh, they've watched Casablanca!" Like, she'll be thrilled. Everyone loves this film and loads of people know it. It's got like a 99% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Roger Ebert. I read a thing before we came on, just like to see what critics were saying. Roger Ebert once said, what did he say? Hold on. It's probably on more best ever lists than Citizen Kane because Casablanca is so widely loved by critics and the general public alike. Which I thought was quite interesting because it is like everyone blanket loves this film, apart from one guy apparently for the 99% approval rating.
Yeah, that's like only 100 people have reviewed it.
Yeah,
so it's one guy.
One
to
dude.
knock it down to 99%.
Yeah. Well, it was one review, right? So
it was one
was.
person.
Was
It's
it
the
just
same
one
thing-
review?
It looks.
It's the same
What?
thing that happened to Citizen Kane last week when Paddington 2 and maybe Paddington 1, I can't remember, overtook it on Rotten Tomatoes' highest ever list because one review from back in the day was dug up from Citizen Kane as some guy going, "I don't get it." and therefore Paddington is confirmed
Fairness, I
better
haven't
than
watched Citizen
Kane.
Kane either.
Yeah, Citizen Kane is excellent, to be fair.
Is it
Well, you have to watch Citizen Kane before you watch Paddington 2, because otherwise it won't make sense.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Watch it in the order of Paddington 1, Citizen Kane, Paddington 2.
Paddington 2.
Fuck's sake. I think sometimes we should stop and apologise to the few that we do have for the utter bollocks that comes out of this podcast.
Yeah, it's a wild ride with us, isn't it? That's probably the best way to put it. We get so
Max,
distracted.
Max. Is this now your favorite film?
No.
Okay. Did you like it?
Yes. I thought it was very good.
Show's over. Done.
I'm not gonna do the rating until the end because that's the way the format's been going. But yeah, I really liked it.
Didn't notice.
It didn't knock me socks off.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was objectively very, very good.
Yeah.
But again, just like I think I wanted more from it than I did. Wanted more from it than I got from it, I should say.
Yeah, I suppose that's always kind of one of the risks you face with a film like this that is so widely loved and hyped, I guess. I think it's probably about, I don't know about you, Nathan, did you go into it blind? Obviously knowing that it's considered good, but like, did you have someone be like,
yeah,
this is
the
so
first time I
good?
watched it, I was like, hey, the thing is, it doesn't blow you away. Like, there are films that I enjoy more, like in terms of like cinema, right? And like getting an experience out of it.
Yeah.
There's just something that's like so simple and
Well, that was a question I
connecting
had
with it.
for you was, and I know this is a difficult one, it's like trying to like explain why you have a favorite song, but like, do you have reasons as to why this is, like, listable reasons as to why this is your favorite film? You can say no, because
It's hard to explain why though, isn't it?
Like I don't know, after I watched it for the first time, it was just, I don't know, I think because it was just a simple love story, I didn't really know what I was expecting when I went into it, and I feel like maybe it's because I was not shocked, but like, that's not the right word at all.
Pleasantly
but like,
surprised?
I was surprised, being like, I thought this would be like a war film, but not.
The war's just the backdrop to it.
Yeah,
I had a similar feeling with, I've spoken about it before with Rebecca, was because I think it was
Rebecca.
With modern films, you go into it sort of expecting them to be good, you know, and you go into and you go into classic films thinking, all right, this is going to be clunky and hard to watch, but it might still be very good, like Psycho or something like that. You know, it's clunky and hard to watch, but it's really good and really watchable. And then I watched Rebecca, and I was like, oh, this is actually profoundly like had an effect on me. And I feel like that's the sort of the way to describe some of your favorite films. Like Social Network is my favorite film, but it's probably on level in terms of like, you know, talent and cinema and that sort of shit with plenty of films, and there's plenty of films that are better than it, but it was a combination of it being that good and it just having this profound effect on me. Yeah. And a bunch of different elements, and that's what makes things your favorite, you know? To me anyway.
I think it's also like the first viewing experience as well, because for a long time, The Shawshank Redemption was my favorite film, and that's because afterwards, like, it's a great film, everyone would agree on that, I would say, but like afterwards I just felt a profound sense, like, I don't know, I just felt very weird after watching it, and I was like, holy shit, if that is the effect it can have on you, this is now my favorite film, because I've never experienced that before with a film. And the same was with Casablanca. It wasn't the same feeling, but it was like, it just felt so nice, you know. It was like this, like a redemption arc of this character who's clearly an asshole, but he wasn't always like that, clearly, because we have like the flashback in the middle of the film which shows what he was actually like, and then he comes back around and sacrifices, you know, his true love, basically.
It's quite interesting kind of watching it now in modern day. In that, I suppose watching it, you could say, God, this film is full of cliches. But actually, it was kind of one of the first films to do it, and that's where the cliches are built. And it is interesting to see that. And I know you guys didn't expect me to like it, and I did like it. I
think it was more because, like, you said you don't like old films, like you were saying, they're a bit clunky, and you don't really like the acting in it. Well, what did you think? Okay, let's go into that. What did you think of the acting and the writing?
We'll go for acting first, because Alex is an actor, which he will now do it. Yep, he's done a face. He is an actor. He does theatre acting. Oh, that's when you're supposed to do the face, because it's not real acting.
He also acts as our friend every week.
I'm joking, by the way. I'm joking. That's me just like throwing my career down the toilet there.
Theatre actors, disgusting.
No, but from an actor's point of view, because I've got notes on the acting on here as well.
Could be better. Could be worse.
Yeah.
It's of its time. It's an interesting one. I was talking about this the other day as to. Can
I just say you knock something over or drop something every episode?
I do. I'm a clumsy bastard. But yeah, I was having this discussion about what is good acting, and it kind of came up. We were talking about Nick Cage, and it was a video that I'd seen about kind of. I think it was from the Community episode. Where
is he good?
Like,
is he
is
bad?
Nick Cage good or bad? And Abed goes crazy. And then someone actually took that and said, let's actually dive into that question. Because there are some roles that Nick Cage is in. He's phenomenal. Other ones that you're like,
what is this?
But it's interesting because as a whole, we have all subscribed to a particular type of acting.
Yeah.
To be good acting. And that's realism. Yeah. And something that you're like, okay, well, that person is being this other person. But it's not the only school of acting. Like Pierrotism, like clownsmanship, that is a form of acting. And it's something that actually Nick Cage has spoken about in that sometimes he will take a role and realism throws out the window. Doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care if you believe that he believes that he's another person. It's not his goal. But we watch it with this expectation that it's going to be something. So that's kind of a precursor to what I'm saying. Like, to modern standards of realism and that being the standard of good, it wouldn't necessarily pass with flying colors. I think it would pass, no one's like being crazy, gesturing. Oh my God.
Yeah. There's a whiskey bottle coming towards me.
Exactly. There's none of that weird shit. It is definitely kind of played down the line. I think there are moments where it is a bit just turned up. And it's like that debate conversation we had about theatre actors being brought into. That
was what I was going to say. That was my point. It's again, it's quite a theatrical. Again, I mean, they came from the stage. That's.
And there were moments where with camera movements and some moments that kind of impressed me, like going from the club into his office and it just kind of passes through what would now it would be like they'd go to like a section of the wall and they'd do like a false cut. It's clearly a stage and they've like moved through into the next stage, which was really visually interesting. But it's a stage and they're performing. I think if I was like 50 meters back up in some stall seats, I'd be like, fuck, this is incredible. You know what I mean? I think it just feels a little bit different when you're as intimately close as you are in cinema.
But I really liked part of that. I mean, I think Ingrid Bergman in this film is amazing. Like, amazing. I think I talked about it in the editing episode we did, like 6 weeks ago, something like that. In that a lot of emotion in cinema is in eyes and eyes alone.
They did a lot with eyes.
Woo! They did a lot with eyes in this one, and her
even in the
acting
dark,
in it. Well, and it's the way she's lit, always... like, the blinds across her face, which we tried to do. I think we spoke about it and again showed it on an earlier podcast, but they did it properly, and like you got a lot of this noir style lighting on her and on him, and on her fella is lit very differently. It's Laszlo. Like very noticeably different whenever he's in, because you're like, Jesus, like he's lit so like light, because he's not like he's not miserable like Rick.
I found. I mean, I don't know if it was of the time of camera lenses, but it felt to me watching it every time the camera was on her, it was very, very soft. Whether that was
super soft
lighting or focus, not like soft focus, but
like a filter.
Very soft lens.
Yes, I know what you mean.
And there was always eye lights as well, so you could really see. It wasn't in anyone else. Sometimes it would be there, but always for her, they would always have eye lights.
Yeah.
And that just like intensifies that whole.
She kind of had that Hollywood glow that you think of.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's one thing as well. Like the film is quite, the characters are quite archetypal. We spoke about that with the small back room. It is kind of this archetype thing. You've got, I mean, Laszlo and Rick are almost two sides to the same coin. It's that kind of two leading men situation.
Yeah.
Where it's like they are of the same coin. They have the same goals deep down, but his story's gone one way, his has gone the other way.
Yeah.
And she's kind of the midpoint. Some of the story I felt, so in general I liked the story. You know, it's got everything.
It's a big old metaphor.
Well, it's got twists and turns, and like even if you scrap any subtext as just a surface level story, it's good. It is a good story.
Yeah.
You know, it's a love story. It's a suspense story. It's kind of a mystery. Like, ooh, how's it going to happen? Is this going to go this way and this way? And it's twisty and turny. And
yeah, and it is all of those things. But the truth is, it is also very much a propaganda film. Like, at the end of the day, that's kind of just what it is.
But it was made in
not a bad thing.
1942.
Yeah, made during the war.
Still was going on. Yeah,
and I read afterwards that the release of this had been pushed forward. To come into time with when the Allies invaded North Africa to stop the Axis getting in there. So it was like they were trying to capitalize on the publicity of that big movement of the Allies capturing. And it didn't really work, and it didn't do amazingly out of the door, and then it like swept at the Oscars, and that's when it just became Casablanca. You know.
What's interesting to me, my dad said this to me. He asked me when I said I was watching Casablanca. He said, "Which version?" Because apparently there's several different cuts of it for different countries because of particular themes. He said, kind of at the time, in a very Catholic Ireland, where she's kind of romancing someone out of wedlock, that wasn't allowed, and they had to basically recut the film, and it's a completely different film.
Wow.
But it was still released as Casablanca.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. There's also another one in the Italian version. It's cut where the French officer keeps speaking over the Italian guy because obviously they didn't want to offend them.
Fuck it up. But that's interesting as well. The fact that, because I was like, I assume I'm watching the full version. It's on Amazon.
Yeah. That
the
I
streaming
assume is the original American uncut version.
Yeah.
It seems very, very pro Allies, so I feel like we watched the right one. I mean, there is a bit where they drown out the German national anthem with the French national anthem.
Yeah.
Like, that's where the classic English northerner person would in the cut and go, like the French did anything in the war.
And it was you. You did it.
It was me.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed the film. Wasn't my it's not going to be my favorite film. None of us expected it to be.
No.
But I pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it. The beginning,
good.
I was a bit like, what have I gotten myself into at the beginning? Purely because I couldn't bear with me on this point. I couldn't understand a word anyone was saying. Yeah. And it wasn't because of accents or different languages. Everyone was speaking ridiculously fast.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this the whole film? Is this like kind of the time? It's like, everybody talks like this. We're going to the news presses. Oh my God, Sally, no. And I was like, and there's kind of these weird like little side characters. I mean, it's interesting like to watch. Again, you've got these main characters, but they do bring in these odd side characters that don't really bear any relevance. The pickpocket.
Yeah.
What was his deal? What was it? Well, there's probably a point to him.
Scroungers everywhere.
Yeah, you got to be really careful.
And he runs into the waiter again later on, and he's like,
he's like,
I liked that detail. The thing about this film is, it's all in the details.
It is on the.
You gotta watch it, and you're like, oh, that was from.
It's so.
That's a thing.
Witty, like that. Yeah. That's the reason I think I liked it so much as well. Is because I feel like if it was written now, you'd be like, yeah. But when you're looking back on it, I don't know, it's almost like a nostalgia thing. Like watching it in black and white, and you're like, this is really, like, it seems ahead of its time.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
In terms
for sure.
of like how it's written, and, like,
Except for the opening shot of a globe.
Yeah, that's true.
so good. It's so
Yeah.
good.
That was before they even started talking. I was like, oh god. It's like, at this place on this time. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, it's got an actual globe that's just turning around. I'm like, this is silly.
Again, it's been so parodied as well that we're just used to it as from the parody point of view.
Well, I said before we started recording, I said, I finally get so many spoofs. I finally understand an entire season of Archer. Like, I watched it and enjoyed it, but I didn't get it.
I watched that season of Archer going, I know that's from a thing, and I think at the time I was going, that's from Gone with the Wind.
What was the line you thought was going to be at the end?
Oh, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's like, where is it? Where's it going?
And then he walks off and it ends, and I was like, I think I'm thinking of the wrong film.
So much. She's about to get on the plane. It's like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Just fucks off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Talking about the story, though, there were a few kind of elements that seemed a little strange to me. Like the fact that she left Rick in Paris because she found out that her husband, who she thought was dead, was alive. That bit I get. Don't quite understand why she couldn't tell him. Thought my husband was dead. He's not. Sorry. Bye.
Well,
that would have cleared a lot of things up.
It's a difficult conversation to have, really, isn't it, with someone that...
Yeah. And he's an important person in like the war and the movement and stuff of you know, it's a risky person, so you don't want to start announcing that stuff.
Well, she even said that they kept it a secret from.
But then later on, it's more the later on point where she was like, "Oh wait, but actually, I love you." And he's like, he's like, "Nice one, cool, but also bye." Like, I don't know. I think
it's kind of just like, it's almost like it's a bit of a Hollywood trope, isn't it? Like a damsel in distress. She doesn't really know what she wants. You know, she's just a woman. She's just in love with these two guys, and she's so conflicted.
There was literally, you'll have to think for the both of us.
Yeah, it is a little bit like not very strong
of
female
its time,
character, but
and
of its time.
Exactly. They always do the classic Hollywood hug where they're like, "Look out the window, Johnny." That one. Yeah. Which I literally put in my notes and went, Hollywood hug. And it's just in every film. I love it. No one hugs like that.
I'll be honest, I didn't do notes this time.
I didn't.
Haven't you done it like once?
I've done it. I did it for the last 3.
Oh, this is episode 15.
No, for all of Film Club, I did notes.
All right. I'll let you off.
This is my first film club that I haven't done
all right.
notes. That was purely out of tiredness. I was like, do I do notes? No.
I didn't do it because I've already seen it like 4 or 5
you don't need to make notes.
Yeah.
Something that I thought was quite interesting though is from watching The Small Back Room to watching this, there's so many things where in this you're like, that's what they were trying to do, but they did it here. So showing how well, like that character of the drunk, world-weary,
I was thinking that a lot.
Older man is done so well in Casablanca without the whiskey bottle like coming at him, right?
Well, this one doesn't drink. He kind of only begins to drink again.
No. He doesn't drink with people. He only drinks by himself. Like when he gets when the German officer's like, "What nationality are you?" He says, "I'm a drunkard."
Yeah.
So it's like implied that it's like he is an alcoholic, but he doesn't drink with people in his saloon. Basically, that's the whole. Yeah. That's his game.
That's his game.
It is interesting you compare it to the Small Back Room though, because I did think you were talking about how sort of witty this film is, and when you were talking about it, I was thinking, do you know what? The more I think about it, that Small Back Room film has the hardest I've laughed at a classic film ever. In that guy,
was witty.
That guy that was like, well, why'd you ask?
There were quite a few witty moments. I think. I think it's something that I haven't watched enough of them to know yet, but it's becoming a trend. Is the kind of the writing in it? They do kind of have just these little quips that just kind of get you, and you're like, That
Yeah.
was good.
That's
Well,
funny.
That's
I like
the thing. It's kind of like watching a modern comedy, I would say. Ones where
Yeah.
it's like they're full of jokes, like an Edgar Wright film, and written jokes in, I don't know, any Will Ferrell film, right?
Yeah.
So
I
it's
was
like-
just sort of picturing a scenario where in this film they do like the super bad joke and he's like, "Oh my god, is that period blood on your leg?"
What the fuck? All I know is she wants my dick in and around her mouth.
In and around her mouth. Sorry, Nathan, carry on.
This film
Put
is
it in and
ruined.
around my mouth again, Sam.
Oh,
Sorry.
Jesus.
Off the rails. Sorry,
I
everybody.
don't even know what we're
Sorry.
talking about.
Fucking witty
Wit.
lines.
Yeah. So like the one of my favorite lines in it is when they're closing up the bar.
Mhm.
The French officer's closing up the bar, and he's like, "Why are you closing it? You don't have any grounds." Like, I can't believe there's gambling going on here. And then that guy comes like, "You're winning, sir."
He's
Like,
just
it's
going, thank you.
Yeah, it's just like bits like that. I
Yeah.
don't know. It just seems. I think that's one of the reasons I like it so much is because it's so unexpected from a film like this.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to get these bits where I'm like laughing at it in a way that isn't. It's not like direct comedy. Like it's not a comedy film.
They're not
But it's just got
making
these-
jokes. They're just
Yeah,
funny.
it's just these little bits of comedy that are just placed around it. It just makes it so much fun to watch.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. My camera needed to change the batteries, so we've completely
My
interrupted our
camera
point.
needed
I'm not
to
going to lie
change
to you.
the batteries.
Yes, English.
In you.
You
I
didn't.
did both. I did both Englishes at A level.
Yep. American and British.
Yep.
Yes.
That
And
was
Australian.
stupid. Let's pretend we didn't do that joke. Anyway,
can't.
welcome back, Max. I hear your batteries had to be changed.
Yeah, the camera batteries had to want to be changed to be.
Welcome back to the show.
There we go. Yeah, that's the gag. That's the gag.
We're doing a podcast.
So we were talking about the sort of wit and the comedy of it and how it holds up in comparison to normal films. And I was gonna just talk about how it holds up in general rather than the comedy thing, because that was one thing that surprised me was the way that this is shot and acted, and especially the lighting. The only thing that did date it for me is that the sort of the
It was
big
in black and white.
the black and white thing, the fact that most of the people in it are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Humphrey died?
yeah, he did.
He died
Rest
pretty young. I think he
No!
was 50.
Rest in peace, Humphrey.
Yeah.
She.
I genuinely hardly knew you.
Yeah. So you've made me lose my point now. The only other thing was the soundtrack, which was that classic like big band orchestra thing that at times really drowned out like important things, and I could tell that it was like that you needed to have this important music, but it was like, what's happening? Because all I can hear is.
Same kind of with Sam's music with that band kind of in the
Yeah.
scenes. It seemed a little. I mean, I know at the time as well, kind of making cinema, you do things because it's like, whoa, that's on a film. Like someone's recorded that and we're hearing it and it's synced up and wow.
Yep.
Like, but like I think it was 3 times there was just like a musical number from the saloon pianist, and I was like,
well, they introduced
this is fun.
the French lady with the guitar, which was nice.
yeah, with a really like surprisingly like high voice.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it. She was like, ah! I was like, ah!
It was terrifying coming from
Playing
your
the
mouth.
guitar really high up the
here.
neck. Yeah, that stressed me out a little bit. I'm sure that's a way, but like the whole time.
It's
quite
it's
funny when they're
almost
singing-
like Spanishy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, down here Spanishy, up here is French.
Yeah, but because she was playing it with a hand like that, which is the Spanish.
Yeah,
She was, like,
it was like
plucking-
stroking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's stop the hand movements.
But,
This
I
is
mean,
one
I
of those
think
moments where you gotta be thankful you're an audio listener.
Oh
rather
yeah,
than
sorry,
watch us
audio
do it.
listeners, we're making hand moves. Just fucking watch us, why not? Like, stop listening. Have some eyes, goddammit.
I was speaking to someone just on Sunday at an art exhibition. Yes, I'm cultured. Who
Yeah,
who
that went over
said
my
to
head,
me,
that.
I was like, hey, because he was there with some of his exhibition, some of his work at the exhibition. Jack Cannon, hello. Now that you've said that you listened to it, you get a shout out.
Hi.
Hi.
Does it wait? He listens to it because all I did was
He
wave.
listens to it. Yes. Hannah said I had to tell you, and you'd be happy because you pushed for the Spotify thing.
It's true. I did. I worked really hard on that.
For the audio listeners, Max is celebrating physically.
Yeah.
But he said he's been enjoying it, and my response was, "You listen?"
I've been enjoying it. Why?
Why? Why do you listen to it?
I think I said, "What? You watch it?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't even watch it." And he was like, "I was like, wait, do you watch or listen?" He was like, "I listen on Spotify." I was like, "Okay, Max will be happy."
Yeah.
We'll have to do more for the audio listeners. This is a very visual podcast.
It is. We did a whole thing of hand movements. 2 seconds.
sake.
Don't fucking feedback. Okay. We'll do
Back on
audio
track.
charades
Yeah.
somehow.
Anyway, yeah. So welcome to the distraction podcast, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The music is. I mean, I think that sets it up for almost how important that character is to Rick.
Sam.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like the two of them.
The real reason he doesn't get on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How could you leave behind that beautiful, beautiful music?
I mean, it is beautiful. That the song that they wrote for. I mean, they probably wrote all the songs for it, but that the main song that won.
As
I
time
think
goes
it won an
by.
Oscar. Yeah, I think it won an Oscar, right? But when he's serenading is it Ilsa, when he's serenading Ilsa, it's a gorgeous song. Like,
Yeah.
And then Rick comes out
properly.
and he's like, "I thought I told you not to play
Yeah.
it." Like,
What the fuck is she doing here?
what's interesting is, and again, this is kind of where it becomes that kind of, you can see it's kind of stagey, a little bit of ham here and there. Not as
Yeah.
bad as you'd expect, but it is there. In terms of the blocking of that scene, as he walks towards the piano, she would have been in direct eyesight.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I thought I told you never to play this." Oh, hi. You're here. Didn't see you right in front of me this whole time.
That's probably I should have put on my glasses.
Yeah, oh, there we go.
That's you. What are you doing here?
And there's so much like the thing is, Victor Laszlo is kind of, he's almost too good of a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's becoming more and more apparent that whilst his wife thought he was dead, she was checking up with this other dude. Rick.
She was off shagging in Paris.
Yeah. And what's interesting is, I mean, they actually, the scenes are back to back, and it kind of shows, like, they are parallels, Rick and Laszlo, in that he's like, "Did you get lonely in Paris?" And she's like, "Yes, I did." And he's like, "You don't even have to say it. I'll believe you." And then the scene directly after that, she's with Rick, trying to explain herself, and he's like, "No matter what you say, I don't believe you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I guess they're different." But, like, let's be real, fellas. Even if your wife thought you were dead, if you weren't, and you found out, like, pretty soon after,
She'd immediately got and
fucking
fucked
someone else. And she was just like, "I was lonely and I thought you were dead." And it's like, "Well, I'm not." And you fucked someone else
Well, to be
so
fair,
soon afterwards.
to be fair, she did get told that he was dead. So it wasn't like she just guessed.
I mean, the
doesn't
time
matter.
frames, though. She was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and I moved to Paris and heard he was dead. And that's when I met you. And we fell in love. I don't know. Hussy.
But then they also wanted to get
yeah.
married after like what seemed like a couple of weeks. I'm not really sure what the
Yeah.
timeline
Well,
is.
he wanted to get married. He was like,
He
"Hey, let's
wanted
get married
to.
on the train." And she's like, "Yeah.
I'm already
Yeah.
married.
Maybe."
Yeah. That's
He's
the
like, "We
thing.
can get the
It's
engineer
like,
to do it." And she's like, "Well."
it's the performances in this really make you believe, like I said, it's such a profound love that they have for one another, when really it was just like a Shagalove hookup, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is. But like you said, the performances in it make you believe that it is like a very intense and genuine thing. Like, I mean, it does seem that they are genuinely in love. She loves both of the men, and she is torn between the two of them.
If only they weren't in the times before polygamy. They could have had a wild time.
Welcome
Yeah, it
to the
didn't
show.
exist. It didn't exist. Until the 70s.
Just Rick and Laszlo just like, hey, Elsa's not here, but I'm in the mood. She won't mind, right?
In terms, in terms of sentences I never thought I'd hear someone say. That's right up there. I love it.
Elsa, Rick, and Victor Laszlo in a thruple. What a fucking film. Let's make it.
We should, yeah, the sequel that nobody wants.
We'll call it Three's a Crowd.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
And just like that, we're off the rails again.
Yeah.
We're almost reached an hour as well. We've spent about 10 minutes of that talking
Just
about
laughing.
Casablanca.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one because there's not. I feel there's not a lot to say. I almost had more to say about the small back room because
It was bonkers.
there was so much to criticize.
A lot of the things I think about this film that I thought were interesting were sort of stuff that surround it. So like the fact that, I mean, it's always just so shocking to me when I see films about the war that were made during the war, because, and this is going to sound really like a really stupid person thing to say, but like for people our age, the idea of like World War II, it's an event in history. It almost seems like fiction in a weird way. Obviously, we're not stupid. We know it happened, but you're watching a film where like a lot of these people, especially like people like on the lower down in the crew, will have flown out to fight in Europe, you know, later on, and that's just so bizarre to me, that because it is just a piece of war propaganda, but that all these people that are in it were living through that, you know, they were alive at the same time as like Adolf Hitler, which is crazy because Adolf Hitler's like this this not real person, right?
And as well, they reference like concentration camps and like going to a concentration camp, being like coming out of a concentration camp, and
that was Laszlo's story, is that he'd escaped.
Yeah, he got taken to a concentration camp. She found out that he was dead.
Yeah,
and then that's why she went to Paris and got with Rick, and then found out he was actually alive and he had escaped.
Yeah, I mean, Rick is just
there for like a year or something.
Yeah, I mean, Rick is just basically a metaphor for America's involvement in the war, right?
That was something actually. We never found out why Rick had to leave America? Question mark?
Well, he's just an expat, isn't he? I don't know if there's any particular reason.
And then,
I
she
think
was saying the Gestapo would be after him because of what he did.
So, his background is like he ran guns to Ethiopia. He fought against the fascists in Spain. So I guess you could just assume that he did something in America, which was
not enough
for America's involvement in the war.
Yeah,
and then they wanted to get rid of him, and then he ended up just going around Europe.
Yeah, it was because it is just like I said, it's just a big metaphor in the sense that Rick has this this decision that he knows is the right thing to do, but the thing holding him back is like, you know, personal afflictions. But it's I think once he learns about the horrors of what's happening, he knows that it's the right thing to do, which is kind of the America story. You know, they didn't want to get involved, and then I think once they found out about concentration camps and the Holocaust and things like that, that's when they went, okay, that's when we get involved.
When the Japanese bombed them.
No,
yeah, that was a big one.
But like that's the message the film's trying to convey.
Right,
that's what I'm saying.
They're the good guys in the whole thing. Yeah,
because it's propaganda.
Even if they seem like the bad guys.
Yeah.
Or like the grumpy guys who are like, no, leave me alone. Let me gamble and drink. Here's one actually. How do you fix roulette? He's like, bet on 22. And it comes up 22 twice.
Magnet, yeah.
I guess, but like, how do you subtly move the magnet? Is
it
22 all night?
It's 22, yeah.
It's always 22.
Yeah.
You wait for everyone to bet on 22, and then you turn the magnet off.
Yeah. Oh, it's an electromagnet.
Or it's like you just have like a little magnet underneath the number 22, and then like a little slot of cardboard that you can push backwards and forwards to stop the energy combining, so that anytime you turn it off, you just move the cardboard in, and it doesn't stick there.
So Nathan's got an electromagnet, and you've gone bit of cardboard.
And both work just as well. Also,
and
this film was made in the 40s.
Movie. Yeah.
Here's another one.
Yeah.
About details. The guy who owned the blue parrot. What's his name? With the fez.
Ferrari.
So many Fezes in this film as well. That's something to point out.
It's because they were near Fez.
Casablanca, more like. What?
No.
Fez.
Fez is a place.
Is Fez a place?
Yeah.
The hat's named after a place. There's a place named after the hat.
I don't know if all hats are named after a place.
No, but I love going to baseball cap.
Yeah. Going to Top Hat on holiday.
Where are you having your honeymoon? Snapback. Anyway, it was just any scene that he was in, pretty much, when he was in the Blue Parrot. He'd have this entire conversation. It'd go whatever way. And then the person he was talking to would leave, the camera would linger on him, and he'd slap a fly
Yeah.
with a fly swatter. And for no reason, that tickled me so much.
Yeah.
Like, by the third time, I was like, what? Why?
When I was watching it, and they introduced it, it was like, you need to go to the Blue Parrot, and then it shows like Blue Parrot, and then it's a parrot. I was like, that parrot could be any fucking colour.
No, it's in black and white. It's just a parrot. It's an any coloured parrot. They couldn't really call it the black and white parrot, though.
No, it's a bit too on the nose.
It is. That would have been funny.
Very meta.
That'd
And
be
they all
more
look
like
in the camera.
that'd be more like Airplane or something of the like.
Yeah.
Like it would be kind of too down that route.
Yeah.
Trying to think. They shot a guy in the opening sequence.
Yes.
Did that ever come up again?
No. It's
Was
kind
that
of
just to
that's
show
kind of
the lack of the worth of life?
That, and also the fact that it's like the police, the enforcement can kind of do whatever they like, and that's reinforced in when they're talking about the guy they arrested. It's like, we haven't decided if he killed himself or if he died trying to escape. Like, the whole point is that
I mean, he
they
says
can kind of do whatever they want to you.
life is cheap in Casablanca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
He said it.
He said, well, what's interesting, like, as well, there's so many iconic lines in this film.
Yeah.
That you're almost waiting for, and some that you didn't even know were from the film.
Yeah.
Like the line, I think this could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Didn't know that was from Casablanca.
No, I
I've
didn't
heard
either.
a million times.
And
in
also,
so
I've
many other things.
seen the shot of him walking away while it's being said.
Pretty
Yeah.
sure
But
it's in The Simpsons,
I never
isn't it?
put it together. Oh,
In the what?
probably, right?
They reference the same scene, them
they
walking
have to.
away.
They all will have. The Simpsons, Family Guy, everything.
Yeah.
Everything will have referenced it. But the whole, here's looking at you, kid. I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And he said it. And I was like, he said it.
Yeah.
Then he kept saying it.
Yeah. My
Says it
reaction,
like 4
my
times.
reaction though, the first time he said it was amazing because he says it. It's in the flashback scene for the first time, right? And right as he finishes saying it, there's like a piano slide.
Yeah.
And for a split second, my brain went, ABBA, Dancing Queen. Like, and I was like, they're going to play Dancing Queen? And I was like, this movie really predates Dancing Queen.
There's no way.
Or ABBA stole it from Casablanca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's just a piano slide, I mean.
Yeah.
I felt watching it, I was like, they're overusing this line. They're overusing it. Why do you need to say it so many times? Here's looking at you, kid. What's the point? And I think what it is because I've heard it so many times.
It would be like if we were to
Right.
write a comedy that's like a parody of that time. We would just do that. We'd put that line in over and over again.
Yeah, it's because I've watched it after hearing all of these iconic lines. So many. At least we'll always have Paris. At least he only said that once. You know.
Yeah.
We'll always have Paris. I don't know. Again, kind of talk about story, acting, all that. I felt like, I mean, I didn't feel a lot there. That's kind of the emotional climax of the film. And I was like,
yes, I know what you mean. I think same.
maybe because I've probably seen that scene so many times. Knew it was coming, didn't have the emotional momentum there because I knew it was coming. It was kind of like okay. They will always have Paris. Bye.
But he's got a mate now.
The German officer comes and he's like, don't pick up the phone. He picks up the phone. He's like, put down the phone. And he doesn't. He's like, bang. I was like, okay.
And then he dies, and then there's one thing I noticed. He's still holding onto the phone, which means the cord of the phone must have been really really long because he falls like quite far back.
Yeah. This is true.
Well, to be fair, that they kind of, I don't know. I wasn't around then, obviously, but I've seen it in like films and stuff when like you've got like mums walking around the kitchens and then they walk around the whole house while still on the phone, and they have those really long cords. So maybe it was one of them.
But the setup to that scene was quite exciting because Rick's got the gun on the kind of French policeman.
Louis.
Oui.
Pardon?
Louis.
Yeah, Louis. And he's like, call the airport. I wanna watch you do it. And instead of calling the airport, he calls the German officer and pretends to be talking to the airport to kind of tip him off that that's where they're going. And I was like, ooh, that's exciting. And then they're at the airport and they haven't boarded the plane yet, and there's like one shot of the German officer in the car going da, 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 with like villain music and fog.
You half expect him to like throw a banana out the window, like.
Yeah. But I was anticipating kind of this big confrontation, and they weren't going to be on the plane yet when he got there, but he gets there and they're on the plane. It's about to take off. He's like, get me the control tower for this really slow cancellation of the escape. Oh, God. Fuck. Okay. And that was it. He's dead now.
So the thing that I feel like, because it's unoccupied France, right? France owns. Is that whole? I can't remember if it was the whole of Casablanca.
This is gonna be like
if it was
it's gonna be like
Morocco.
Mommy, where I'm like, is this film in France? No,
It was Canada.
Yeah, I think it was. It was all in Canada. I think they own all of Casablanca, and it was during that time, wasn't it? There was a weird time where like the locals were on the side of the Allies, but they were occupied by like the Axis for a bit, and then there was the French took it over. It was like basically it was that one spot in Europe. It was that spot in Europe that was just constantly like tossed and turned around. You know what I mean?
But technically, so it was unoccupied France. It was French territory. So the German officer couldn't just go and kill a bloke, right?
Yeah.
He couldn't just like stop the plane, kill the guy or whatever, because
that's a crime. Which is actually interesting because again, you look at the war and you're like, the Germans were all these like, the Nazis were evil bastards. I get it, but like there was still those elements of politics involved. You forget that like. Our prime minister went over and had meetings with Hitler prior to the war and at the beginning of the war. And you forget there's so much actual politics involved that this guy's like, hey, this Laszlo fella's going to come here. It's not good for the Germans if he gets to where he wants to go, so we're going to try and keep him here. It's not even that we want to. It's not even that we want to take him back. Just don't let him go where he wants to go. But you kind of think, the Nazis are just going to go hunt him down and kill him.
Yeah.
Which they did think about after a while. But,
yeah, because that's kind of the thing. But then, with his whole point of if someone kills him, then there'd be people to replace him.
Yeah.
Which is also the other thing. Which is also he's kind of irreplaceable. That's also the theme of the story, is that this one guy is so pivotal to the war effort in terms of Allied propaganda. Basically, they're saying about how he was distributing newspapers.
But then by proxy, Rick becomes that exact same device because it's in his hands.
He decides if he lives or if he dies.
Thanks, Bane.
Cheers,
no problem.
Did Max come back now?
Yeah, alright. How you doing?
Oh, hey, Max. You missed Bane.
Oh, shit. Tom Hardy?
No, Bane.
No.
Actual Bane.
Bane,
actual Bane.
The real one.
That's even better.
Like Tom Hardy's like some like shopping center Santa. Bane. There's a real Bane that lives up at the North Pole. It's so stupid.
That's a sketch.
Yeah. What, Bane as Santa Claus?
Yeah.
I live half of the year in the darkness. Half of it, the sun's up the whole time. We're all very tired, by the way. Very well. I am. Nathan's probably well rested. He's like a normal adult.
I'm
has a
I
sleeping
am an
pattern.
adult. Yeah.
I'm just always tired. It's just how it goes.
Hell yeah!
Anyway, so we're
Casablanca.
getting towards the hour mark, which
We
is
are.
where we start sort of wrapping it up.
Ish.
I've got a couple of questions before we do.
Shoot.
Obviously, this isn't from a personal perspective, but Casablanca is on many, many greatest lists of all time, greatest films of all time lists. Where would you say this ranks? I'm not trying to ask for a number, but in the terms
It's definitely
of
below
cinema.
The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, I agree.
It is the greatest showman, so if it was the mediocre showman, it'd be
the okay
further
showman.
down.
Yeah, that would be
The bang average showman.
the bang average showman. Okay. I will let Nathan go first, given that it's his favorite film, and I don't know.
I mean, in terms of subjectivity, it's my favorite film, but I would still put other films above it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not blinded by the fact that I like this film. Like, even Mummy, I would place above this, because objectively, I think it's a better film.
Yeah.
Even, I still got a strong emotional response from that film, but
Yeah,
this one just hit me harder when I first watched it. So, I mean, in terms of, like, a top 20, I would happily put it in a top 20 list of greatest films of all time.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
I would put it below Mommy and above The Small Back Room. And way, way above Mulholland Drive.
Hold on. So just in that context, you're putting The Small Back Room above Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive.
I had more fun with it. It's not a better film.
Okay,
Mulholland Drive is a better film than The Small Back Room.
fine.
But I had
That's
more
okay.
fun with The Small Back Room.
I
because
didn't.
of how ridiculous it was.
It was ridiculous, but I didn't have more fun with it because the
the
Mulholland
whiskey-
Drive
the
whiskey
has
bottle.
its moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, looking back on it, it's like, when you go for like a road trip that takes like 6 hours, and you're like, oh, this is terrible. This is the worst thing that's ever happened. And then there are like a few jokes in it.
Yeah.
And you remember the jokes, right?
That's the thing.
what that film was to me. It was excruciating to watch. It was so boring.
Yeah. That's the thing. I remember the jokes that we made about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Not the film itself. Like, he doesn't actually go, oh my god, it's coming towards me. Like, he doesn't. He just sort of goes like, oh my god. But like, that's the bit I remember, like the comical side of it. So no, that film was
kind of
shit.
similar with Mulholland Drive as well, though. Like,
Okay,
film.
Irene.
My bags. Oh, they're there, right there, right by my feet.
Yeah. I every day I go, okay, Irene, like every damn day since watching that film.
I love it. But yeah. So it ranks around there.
Okay. Well,
And, yeah.
like I said, you don't need to put a number on it. I was just interested to know if you think that
9?
it's is just the number 9. No context.
I say
Nice.
no
So.
in German.
yeah.
I just think it's I see it and I think important film, needed to happen, very good film, but I didn't love it. That's kind
What
of
was
how
your
I think about
rating? You were withholding your rating till the end.
Yeah, well, we do that, don't we? We just say we'll do the ratings. I would have probably put it
What are we
at
doing out
about
of? I forget.
10.
10.
So based on that rate, it's a tricky one because you've got to combine your personal taste with, what you think is objectively good. So I think I would probably put it at about a 7.5, which seems harsh. I think it just seems low, but I just didn't love it as much as I hoped I would. But I thought it was really, really good.
If 5 is average, giving something a 7 out of 10 is one of those things. Like, 5 is average. 5 should be the middle ground.
But it sounds like it's not, though, doesn't it?
5 feels so low. Like, 7.5 is
Average. It sounds...
It feels average, but it's quite a bit above average.
It's high.
It's like a 4-star, isn't it?
It's between average and perfect,
Yeah.
It's at least very good, 7.5. I would give it a 7.
Yeah.
Kind of, like you say, balancing my enjoyment of it was maybe a 6, but kind of what is actually good about it bumps it up because it is a good film.
Yeah.
The camera work in it is actually like that's one thing that impressed me quite a lot. The use of camera movement.
The lighting.
Weird little details, like when they do go into his office and you're looking at Louis, and Rick is off screen, but you see exactly what he's doing through like shadow work.
Yeah, when he like opens the safe.
Yeah, it's really strange because like it shouldn't work and it seems unnecessary, but it's very visually interesting.
We referenced it before, but it's very noir, and it's where Humphrey Bogart came from. Like he was almost like the go-to gangster movie guy, basically. And this was a big kind of swerve from his usual role. I mean, he still played it was a similar character.
Yeah.
Style, I guess.
Kind of like that troubled guy.
Yeah.
And we should say as well, the director, who we haven't mentioned, Michael Curtiz, came from a silent film background as well. So again, that noir influence thing. I do think it is interesting, actually. Just one final point that I forgot to mention, just how he isn't revered, because he doesn't particularly do anything that special in this film as a director. But you would think that the director of a film, that's Casablanca, would be held up in high regard, but it sort of speaks to the studio system time of Hollywood, where it was just like directors were just people on payrolls, and you got the occasional Hitchcock and the occasional Orson Welles who would have pretty much full control over the films they made, but they would tend to have to be sort of wealthy, well established in the industry.
Well, this thing, it would be multiple films, so you would have successful films and then another one and another one, and then be like, what, this person's good, let's just keep going.
Whereas you get someone like this, like Michael Curtiz, who just does a very more than adequate job, but doesn't get remembered for his quality because of the fact that
everything.
It sounds harsh, but he's just sort of any old studio guy. Fuck's sake.
Welcome back, guys. We had some technical difficulties.
It wasn't our fault this time.
No, it actually wasn't.
Down. We've got no Craig anymore. That's a shame.
Craig is our Discord bot. He helps us keep things in check and up to date, synchronized. Have you clapped, by the way? Because without Craig, you need to clap.
I have clapped.
There we go. We've clapped.
I've clapped.
So
I'll clap again.
Clap again. There we go. I've also clapped, but I'm not going to do it again.
And I've got the clap.
I'm not a sheep.
Let's carry on.
Heyo.
Heyo.
It's just one of the many problems of post-COVID podcasting, I suppose.
Post.
Well,
Can we say that yet?
It's not a thing anymore. It's not a problem.
You guys have one case in every 40,000 now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've stopped checking the news, to be honest. It's been a fucking year, mate.
This is true.
So this is going to be a bit of an editing hickory-jickory bit here, because we're not actually 100% sure as to when Discord crashed. I think I was making a point about the director, Michael Curtiz, not being sort of held highly and being revered by Hollywood like Hitchcock and Orson Welles was. And
my brother was in a film about Orson Welles.
Was he?
Yeah,
what film?
That being Orson Welles.
Should have guessed. Clues in the title.
Yeah.
Was he Orson Welles?
He was not. I believe Zac Efron was Orson Welles.
What?
Did he play Orson Welles or just someone?
Hold on.
That's West.
Welles. Maybe he didn't play Orson Welles, but he was in it.
Is it me and Orson Welles?
Oh yeah, that's.
Are you thinking of being John Malkovich?
Maybe. Maybe he plays the me person.
Me.
Yeah, I think he plays me, and someone else plays Orson Welles.
He plays you.
Yeah, he plays me.
So they hired your brother to be in a film where Zac Efron plays you.
Yeah. No. But yeah. That the theatre in there is the Gaiety Theatre where I do the shows that I'm in.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool. I'm like looking at some stills from the film and I'm like, haha, I've been there.
Cool. But anyway, yeah, so I thought it would be... I thought maybe I would like Casablanca a little more than I did if it had... This is so pretentious, but if it had a more of an auteur at the helm.
Yeah.
That's what I like about
Because it gave it
Rebecca
that
so
kind
much.
of twist, that kind of style.
Because that's what I like about Rebecca so much. Because Hitchcock, most of his films were very much Hitchcock films. Like he was in charge of everything that happened, and then with Rebecca, it was his only pretty much studio film, where it was just he didn't have the entire creative control that he had, but he was still Hitchcock. You know,
Yeah.
so you could still see his fingerprints all over it, and I just really like that blend. I love Hitchcock films anyway. Like Rope's one of my favorite films, but Rebecca just hit a mark for me that was just like this perfect blend of classic Hollywood acting and
Is that
stage
what film you're
and...
probably going to pick?
No, I'm not. I'm not, because I want to do contemporary. And also, I'm still tempted to pick ones I mean, I don't know. I'm still deciding whether to pick one I haven't seen or have seen. I probably will pick one I have seen.
Nathan's picked one that you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested. Like, I'm not going to guarantee this for those of you listening and watching, but we were discussing it slightly, and it's probably I'm gonna get a bit of stick for it, I reckon. But a surprisingly good film is Need for Speed. The film
I thought you might do this.
Based off of the video game. Watched it to kill time, waiting for a boat.
Okay.
And I just kind of went in for some mind-numbing. Oh, I'm gonna watch Cars.
Yeah.
You know,
but you ended up watching Need for Speed instead.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That was too quick.
Could you imagine if Aaron Paul was the voice of Lightning McQueen instead?
Ka-chow, bitch.
Ka-chow, bitch.
Sorry, were you setting yourself up for it?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. White.
Oh, Jesus.
So I watched Need for Speed. It was on, and I was like, it works out time-wise. It'll finish. I'll have time to get the boat.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it's not a guaranteed going to be your pick for next week, but it would be the most fucking crazy list of films.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was one of those films that I expected absolutely fucking nothing from it.
Yeah.
And was like, oh shit, I'm crying.
I think the good thing is with that, I'm not saying pick it, but the good thing is with that is that no matter how much you try and sell it to me, I will still go into it thinking it's going to be shit.
Yeah.
Like, no offense.
That's kind of part of the
all,
expectation.
but...
I'm hoping you do.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
And I think with that low expectation, you might actually enjoy it.
Yeah,
I'm sure the only thing I know about it is that the director of photography was Shane Hurlbut, I think.
Okay.
Don't know him by name.
Who that is.
And I want to see if I'm right. Anyway.
He's the same guy that shot Casablanca.
It is,
Yeah.
funnily enough.
That's how we tie it all together.
Yeah. At any point in the film does he go, I've got the need.
For speed, bitch.
For speed, bitch.
There's quite a lot of quite famous actors in it. I only thought Aaron Paul was in it.
Dominic Cooper, Imogen Poots, Kid
Rami
Cudi.
Malek, Kid
Poot
Cudi,
Malek.
yeah.
Poot is in it. Demi
Imogen
Lovato's
Poots.
twin.
No, Imogen Poots.
Ah.
Dakota
Shit.
Johnson. Michael Keaton.
Dakota Johnson. Oh, Michael
Keaton's in
Keaton.
it. And then other people.
Anyway, so that Casablanca.
We ended
Again.
it by talking about fucking Need for Speed. That sums up this podcast more than anything we've ever done.
But yeah,
I think.
I would say to sum up the film, like it's a classic film. I mean, I don't think there's a better way to describe it, to be honest.
Yeah, the golden age Hollywood.
Yeah, it's not a perfect film. It has its flaws. It was made
1942.
70 something years ago. I'm not going to do that kind of
It was
math.
1942.
There you go.
Well, that's when it was released. So what, 1940 to 41?
Yeah, I mean for the time in which it was made, during the war, about the war, and how quick-witted it is, the dialogue, the acting, the cinematography, writing, everything is just really good.
Yeah,
but it doesn't hold up to today's greats.
No.
But I think for nostalgia, even though I wasn't around in that time, just that kind of feeling of it is what makes it my favorite film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm sad that you guys didn't experience what I did.
I mean, I did and I didn't. I just didn't get that. I think the thing it's I know it was my pick, but it's hard to follow Mummy because it affected us all emotionally as well as like impressive wise.
Yeah.
So like I was impressed by
would be hard to
Casablanca,
follow.
but it just didn't emotionally tear me apart like Mummy did, you know.
Yeah.
He was 24.
Yeah.
That's the thing you remember.
It's not fair.
Well, anyway, so that's the end of this podcast. I think that's a nice little outro.
Yeah.
Just quickly to round it up because we did sort of graze over it and Discord crashed and all went wrong. So Max is giving it 7.5. Alex,
7.
Nathan,
8.
8.
Oh.
There we go. Very
Okay.
nice. Your favourite film doesn't have to be a 10. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I think I love The Boat That Rocked. It's like one of my favourite films ever, but I'd probably give it like a 6. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you've enjoyed this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, I
Keep it to
can't see
yourself.
why you have. It's been chaotic to say the
Fucking
least.
shambles.
It's been an absolute shambles. But if you have
Probably
enjoyed
not
it,
it's not really what we expected from the Casablanca episode.
no, I know, yeah.
Fucking nonsense.
But it's the same thing. It's like the last time that we had this much of a breakdown on camera was when it was Community. So Nathan's favourite TV show and Nathan's favourite film episodes have just been an absolute disaster.
Oh, fuck me.
But
That's been funny.
if you have nonetheless enjoyed this episode, if you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a little subscribe. That helps us out more than likes do. But not to put you off giving us a like because look
Comment
at
as
us.
well.
And a comment, why not? Share your thoughts.
Join the conversation.
And if you're listening to us on Spotify, give us a follow. If you're listening to us on Google
Thanks,
Play
Jack.
or any of that other stuff, follow. I don't use those platforms. I don't know.
Fair
Subscribe.
fucking play to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's about it. You know, we've got a Twitter, we've got an Instagram, we've got a Facebook,
TikTok.
got a TikTok. It's all just Glassline Media. That's us. That's our brand.
Somehow
Give us a
we've got
follow.
the name everywhere.
We have. So, thank you very much. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an outro. Here's looking at you, kid.
Oh, that was good.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful.